Hi everybody, welcome to the Finance This Property That podcast. My name is Dion Fernandez and I am a mortgage planner and finance professional. My goal is to empower financial legacies for generations, and I look to do this by using my over 13 years experience in finance and having special guest speakers like financial planners, accountants, buyer's agents, family lawyers who are experts in their field to provide knowledge and free education. And without further ado, let's get into our episode today. Welcome everybody to this episode of Finance This Property That. Very special guest today, Louise Nash from Base Buyers Agency. Whew, get that alliteration out. Today, want to run through a couple of things with her. Very experienced in obviously property, but also construction and development. One of the key things that I'm seeing in my ideal client scenario is people wanting to do developments, wanting to get into developments and thinking there's a silver bullet. We're about to debunk that. There is no silver bullet. As I always say, we need to go slow to go fast. And we're going to walk you through a few tips, strategies, and also some things to really look forward to, or not look forward to, look out for when you are looking at particular types of property for development. But thank you for joining us, Louise.
Thank you for having me. No, great. We all survived the weekend, so we're all here to
yes, we did.
Get on with the week. So,
yeah. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
It is always good to get different perspectives, especially because not every buyer's agent's the same, right?
Correct.
And I think from meeting you, you've had a really cool journey.
Yeah.
So, really want you to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Yep.
And where did Base come from?
Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Oh, so probably going to show my age here, but have a building and construction background. So started in the family business back when I was 22. Joined Dad in his construction company, worked alongside him on a day-to-day basis.
He's still working in construction, isn't he?
Well, he's semi-retired. We like to say semi-retired, not fully retired. Semi-retired, still doing some projects on the side just to keep that mind active.
Yeah.
So whilst I was working in the business, I went and did a certificate for and a diploma in construction, which was quite interesting, being one of two lay girls in a classroom full of, males. Bobcat drivers, bricklayers, you name it, they're all in there. So that was very interesting. And then from there, once I did my diploma, it enabled me to actually get my builder's license. So have just continued the last 27 years working in that industry, watching homes obviously being built from the ground up. And where did Base come from? It was just a natural progression. It was back in COVID when everybody decided to, let's go study something else. In the back of my mind, I'd always wanted to do my real estate get my real estate agent license. And I got it, and then I was like, I actually don't know what I want to do with this. I don't think I want to be a salesperson. I don't think that's me. So I sat down with another lady who was a buyer's agent at the time, and she ran me through what she did. And it was like a light bulb moment where I went, I've been doing that for the last 27 years. We would have clients come in and say, hey, we want to do a townhouse project, or hey, we want to, build a duplex. Even some of the trades that worked for us, would come in and see us. And from there I would, go out. I knew where to find the land. I knew what we could put on it. And we would start that journey with them from the conception right through to the completion. So it just clicked, and that's where Base Buyers Agency was formed.
Interesting. Because there's not a lot, a lot of people be one or the other, but you're on the ground and now you're off the ground at the same time, right?
That's right.
You've actually got a very unique skill, from what you've said, you've got a very unique skill set because you understand obviously the acquisition phase, but then you also understand what it actually takes to get to realise the dream, realise the end result, right? And you can then sort of educate clients to go, you may think that, but this is what reality is.
Yes.
And you've actually got the skills, knowledge, and expertise to actually say, no, that's actually what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And also, like throughout that journey being in the building and construction sector, Dad and I have done our own developments. My husband and I have done our own developments. So I know what a development looks like right from its concept. And like you said, it's not a silver bullet.
No.
There are so many, there are positives and negatives that you have to weigh up in that whole process. And it's not a process overnight either, right?
No.
You're finding a site, you're analysing a site, you're looking at, what have sales been in the area? What demographic are we going to, build these townhouses for? I'm not going to go and do high-end finishes in townhouses in Loganholme when I know that the demographic are your first homeowners or your investors, because my price point's going to be different on what I have to sell them for. So it's analysing everything. It's doing your due diligence from start to finish. So yeah, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I think that having been in this industry for 27 years, like you said, I do have a unique point of view that I have that experience.
You've seen it.
Yes, I've seen it. I've lived it.
and look, I've seen it from my point of view with the financing. Everyone, it drives me bananas, right? Like, you think that you're just going to get a site and you're going to split it one into two, you're going to build two houses, and all of a sudden you're just going to get this massive profit at the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually work like that.
No.
And, half the time it's like, oh, we need the finance solution. I'm like, well, cool. Let's park that.
Yeah.
Let's work back from the end. Let's let me see your numbers.
Yeah.
Because splitting blocks and things like that, your townhouse project, you'd have to have infrastructure charges on every single
100%.
Yeah, so it costs money, right?
Yeah.
People just think you can subdivide a block like that. It'll take. More recently, I've been told that it'll only take 1 month to subdivide a block, and I said, "Oh, is it already titled? Is it already? Has it got stuff on it already? Has it got the connections already?" No. I'm like, so it doesn't have connections.
Yeah.
Has it got an approval? Oh, no, it won't take long. We'll get the approval. I'm like, yeah, you'll get the approval, but then you actually have to get the works done to it to actually make it, to meet the approval.
And what are the costs of those?
Yeah, and that, 20 grand apparently. I'm like, oh gosh. I always budget. I mean, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
I've had people budget 50 grand.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. How about let's budget 100 so that we're not 70 to 100.
Yeah.
Depending on the site, because I don't know the site. That's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is to work on contingencies.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know what overlay, like you don't understand what needs to be done on that site fully. You don't know where the crossovers are. You don't know where the lines are. And that's where and most of these people won't even have a team behind them.
Exactly. And
that's number one.
Number one, you must have your team behind you, right? Like I have an excellent draftsman and I can ring him at any time and say, hey, have a look at this site. I think I can get 5 townhouses. What do you reckon? Oh, Louise, no, I think we should, we can look at 4 or we can actually look at 6. So, yeah, having that team in place, we're actually looking at a site up at Redland Bay at the moment, which it's been sitting there dormant for a while. It's got a DA on it for 5 townhouses. And in my mind, I was like, okay, what's happened here? There has to be some kind of history for this. Why? Some work has happened. It stopped work. Like, what's happened here? And it was actually an agent that I deal on a regular basis with who brought it to me. And so I've been delving into the history of it. And yes, it does have a DA for 5 townhouses, but then the developers decided they wanted to try and do some NDIS units on there. They tried to, backdoor the planning scheme through a private certifier, and the council found out about it. And from there, they put a stop work on it.
Mate, and I can tell you from experience, Redland is probably one of the harshest councils.
Yes.
To get any sort of development approval
That's
from.
right.
Because they'll sting you. But anyway, I digress.
Yep. Yeah. So they did put a stop work on it. It was overruled in court. Now, this is all history that I've had to find out and I've had to, delve into to get to what is the story on this. In a nutshell, if we go back to building the 5 townhouses, that's fine. The DA is still current. We're just looking at construction costs at the moment. We're looking at seeing, we believe the townhouses are probably oversized. If we can reduce them without compromising on our end sales price, then that may reduce, the roof area, which then reduces the need for such a huge detention tank in the driveway. These are all things that you need to know about. I have civil engineers who I can phone and say, hey, we've got this detention tank. Do we actually, does it need to be done? Does it need to be this big? So definitely, developments are never plain sailing.
No. and you've got to be prepared for the hurt, because I think, without great risk, you won't, there's risk and reward, right? Without great risk, there won't be the reward. But you need to make calculated risk.
Yes.
Right? Flipping back, going back one step, don't worry about your town plan or everything. You need to actually find someone that can get you the site.
Yes.
So that's where you come in, right? But you can't get the site unless you know what your budget is. So,
correct.
I feel that a buyer's agent, part of the two key factors, or your two key team players in a development, finance and a buyer's agent.
Yep.
But not any buyer's agent, because anyone can go, oh, yeah, well, this looks like it's got some potential. But what potential? Like being able to actually go, all right, surface level, and then just dig a little bit deeper.
Yep.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. Dig a little bit deeper.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, and then be able to pitch it, because one site, certain sites need a certain type of developer as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
they're not all the same. They're not all equal either.
No.
So, we've done boutique townhouse projects down in Loganholme, and the first one that we actually purchased was actually zoned for apartments. And in my mind, I was like, it's ridiculous. Why would you be you can't build good-sized apartments on 2,000 square metres, right? So what we ended up doing was having a pre-planning meeting with Logan City Council, and worked out that we could actually go and do an MCU, a material change of use, and take that site back to developing townhouses. However, the agent within that area, whether they, this side of it was funny, this side of the street was all zoned for apartments and the other side of the street was zoned for townhouses. Very strange. However, agents in the area were saying to owners of, the properties, a developer will buy it, it's worth 1.3, 1.4. But a developer comes along and actually does a FISO and then has to re-educate the real estate agent that, no, that's not actually the case. If I work my FISO back, my land cost is $800,000, and that's what I'm willing to pay for it. So, yes, people can, I get sites all the time, and, some real estate agents are the same. They know development, some don't know development. Hey, you can develop this. Well, no, actually we can't. It's got a pre-war house on it that can't be demolished.
You can't take it.
Right?
It's got a natural heritage listing, right?
Exactly. It's all these things. But, because they've been told that, it can be developed, it doesn't mean that it can be developed. You need to start from scratch. You need to do your due diligence. You need to see where your services are. And you really have to pick that site apart to see if it works.
And it's always funny when you see it on realestate.com and the lines, it's like ...
Yeah.
Development potential,
Sure. Yeah.
STCA. It's like, you haven't done any research on
No.
it. But again, it's not their job.
No.
Their job
correct.
is to sell the property. right?
Exactly.
It's your job as a developer or your job as a buyer's agent to see whether that property is suitable for
Correct.
that. So, that's where you excel.
Yeah.
And then when you want to get more specific advice, we build your next player in your team, which is your town planner,
Yes.
because they're your advocate.
Yep.
They're
that's
the
right.
advocates between you and the council. Get a lot of... I've had Mark Carepal from Urbicus, one of the top... I think they just got top 4 in Queensland or Brisbane for town planners.
Yep.
Very good.
Very good, yes.
Their wins. They're only a small firm, but again, it's battling against big firms.
Yeah.
But their ratio is good, right? So he's one of my favorite go-to guys.
One of your go-tos,
really
yeah.
honest. Like, he goes, mate, what are you doing? So, but you have your team. That's your
Yes.
next point of call. Okay, yeah, I think it can be, but you don't work. That's not what you do. You don't work. You've got the underlying potential. Then they go and this is what you can really do. Or
Yep,
you got to
correct.
watch out for this.
Yep.
It cost you this. And that's where the cost things come into it.
Yes.
How much is it actually going to cost to develop this land?
Yep. So whenever I get a development site across my desk and I think it's got potential, like let's say the Redland Bay one, for example, I'll do a quick feaso.
So for all of you that don't know,
Feasibility.
study. Yeah. Is this property worth? Is this development worth the inputs versus the outputs? Basically.
Exactly. Yep. So do a quick, surface level feasibility, which will basically, okay, what have townhouses or units or even a single house been selling for in the area in the last 6 months? We know here in Brisbane that prices are still continuing to go up steadily. I know what square metre rates are. I know builders who build high end. I know builders who just do townhouse projects, exactly the same as what we were building, 10 years ago. I know builders that just do investment stock. So I have a range of, square metre rates that I can quickly, okay, the demographic here is going to be downsizers. What are they going to want? Mid-level, we're not going high-end finishes. We're going mid-level finishes. Square metre rate's going to be this. What can I fit on the site? Hence, I ring the draftsman. What can I fit on? What size are they going to be? So I can quickly work out my square metre rates. Surface level feaso, does it work? It has potential to work. Let's take the next step.
Yeah, because that's just really high level, right? Like, where do we go? Is it worth it? Inputs, outputs. One of the things that I see in feasibility studies is, the spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet, yeah.
Because that's what they all are. Just a lack of understanding around the numbers and the costings.
Yeah.
Right. One project could have cost this, but this is you can't assume.
No.
I always say to clients, estimate higher than what you think it's going to be. One of the funniest ones I do see is agent fees. So selling fees, 2%.
Yeah.
Like, what good agent, 2%?
Yeah.
Like, you want to probably factor in 3%.
Yes.
Plus GST. Then also factoring in all costs with GST. So you actually need two separate line items.
You do.
With and without.
Yeah. And you need to understand that GST component too. Because
cash flow.
cash flow, and that can, if you haven't accounted for that in your sales as well as, your purchases, that can be a real downfall on the project at the end of the day. If you don't have that understanding, are you buying this land under the margin scheme?
Yes.
So having an accountant.
Yes, which is the key player in your team.
Exactly.
Accountant, because that's going to help the overall profits, the setting up the structure, which is so
your
important.
first protocol, yes.
So, the three people, now we've got a team of three that we need to engage before buying.
Yep.
Accountant to set the structure up, set all the shareholdings up, etc.
Yeah.
Finance, buyer's agent to get the property.
Yeah.
Then we've got your town planner. So that's really key, right? And this is the understanding.
100%.
And then the even funnier one is factoring in the cost of lending money. So this is always, I actually tell clients, I will do that for you.
Yeah.
And depending on how you want to finance this deal, are you going to, 5 townhouse development, you're not going to go through a bank for that.
No.
Well, not easily.
Not easily,
You can get through a bank, but it won't be easy. Do you have the financials for that if you're going through the bank? Probably not.
Yeah.
If you don't, well, then we might need to go private. So a lot of people don't understand the private side of
interest
lending.
rates are, your rates are higher with a private as well.
Correct. Rates, fees. Yep. How you pay it, your deposit needs to be there. They won't lend 80% traditionally.
Correct.
It's normally 65 inclusive. Normally, depending on the type of project and who you are and how many you've done it. And not all private lenders want to lend to anyone.
No. They want to see a track record.
Correct. Need a CV.
They want a CV. The first time one, because we would always go actually through private lenders when we were doing it. We were doing complexes of, 10 townhouses. And we would go through private lenders, and positive with that was that we didn't have to have pre-sales
Yes.
with 10 units. We could capitalise the interest as part of the, the project costs. So that helped with the cash flow on the other side. So there's definitely positives, but you do have to make sure that that project works at that rate for that private lender.
Yes.
Because it's, probably double what, a bank could be. So that's definitely, and also contingency.
Yes. So I always work in about a 5 to 7% contingency in my feasibility.
Yep.
I know it's scary that people don't work contingency into the fees, especially when it's constructing.
Yes.
You have to.
You have
'Cause
to.
the cost,
There's too many variables.
What you get here versus what you get here.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, back to your private lending, again, the private lending's a solution-based product.
Yes.
It is not, it's temporary.
Yes.
12 to 15 to 18 months tops, depending on the project. They don't want to keep your money forever because that's money they can't lend out to someone else. So, I look at maybe 2 or 3, depending on the type of project.
Yeah.
If there's a very specific project, I'll know who'll do it well and who won't do it well.
Exactly.
Right, so that's where we're going.
Yeah.
You've got to factor in application fee / establishment fee, valuations, legals, brokerage, then your interest cap.
Yes.
Now, you're funny you say about interest capitalised. It's good if you've got the money.
Yep.
But if you didn't have the money, you shouldn't be doing the project in the first place.
Yep.
So some lenders will do interest cap, some lenders will do interest in arrears, but they still want to see the money there.
Yeah,
interest in
exactly.
arrears means that you just don't have to put in as much funds up front.
Yeah.
But it's much of a muchness.
Yeah, exactly.
You're putting it in there. So, but the misconception is, these private lenders, they're all out to gouge you. Well, no.
No.
You need a quick solution.
Yeah.
You need a commercial solution.
Yeah.
You're paying the cost for convenience.
Exactly.
Well, you can go to the bank. You can sit there for 3 to 6 months fighting why you should have it, and they're still not going to give it to you.
No, and they're still probably going to want a pre-sale.
Correct.
1 or 2 pre-sales.
Yep.
I know on the 10 townhouses, it was 50%. So we're going to sit there on the land, paying interest,
Yep.
waiting to get pre-sales before we can actually go ahead and start
But-
building.
And that's how many months? Like 4 to 5 months before you get pre-sales. That's 4 to 5 months worth of interest. That's 4 to 5 months worth of profit that you've lost.
Exactly.
And then, if you start it in quarter 3, right? Quarter 3 is what? October, November, December.
December.
If you're starting in October, then you've got 2 to 4 weeks off for Christmas.
Christmas.
That's
And
now
more.
6 months delay.
Yeah.
Then, you could have rain.
Exactly.
You got to be smart.
Yeah,
You got to get in,
exactly.
got to get out, got to have the exit. But more importantly, if you're going to circle back, you got to have the right team of advisors. And I've always said it, okay, you don't want people that'll always say yes.
Exactly.
You want people that'll challenge you to make sure you're actually making the right decision.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm not the guy signing your life away. Like, I'm not signing the contract, right?
Exactly.
You're not signing the contract.
No.
You got to. That's why they have the due diligence clause on there as well, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I think private lending is a great solution to get in on projects, get in, get out. May not be but you can stage it too. So I had a client recently. We did the acquisition for him, and then he just did the subdivision in cash, knocked the houses down. We got the titles done. That was done through mainstream lending.
Yeah.
Well, when you want to build $3 million worth of houses, that's pretty hard to get servicing on.
Yes.
Right, you've got to have some pretty schmick job to
Yeah,
get the servicing
exactly.
on, or
Yeah.
even correct debt structure. Right, even with
Exactly.
correct debt structure, it'll be tough.
Yeah.
We just ended up doing a low doc, alt doc solution for him.
Yep.
Got him the full amount. Building.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that did actually settle. That we actually were going to settle before Christmas, but we're like, no, can we just pull out the settlement till the end of Jan? End of Jan, pulled out the settlement till the end of Jan. Now they're pouring the pool slab and everything.
There you go.
Like that. So, and they're ready to go. Commencing site, they've done site works, all that sort of stuff. Pool slabs in. Now the builders are getting it.
Exactly.
So it's just about how, and it's also staging it because he's building 2 side by side. Again, this part of your feasibility, your sales strategy.
Yeah.
You don't finish them both at the same time.
No. No. No.
You want to have the one where you know you're going to get X more money, potentially. Finish first, you get people through that property. They'll see the other property going, hang on a sec, FOMO, don't want to miss out.
Don't want to miss
out. But if
out.
I miss out on here, there's this one here.
Yeah.
But this ultimately will drive this up by the time it's ready because they'll see it's the same builder doing it.
Exactly.
So, again, we even delved deeper and deeper into that strategy. It's more than just buying the property and building the house.
Exactly.
I did a podcast with Henry Wong, Shane from Collaborate Constructions, as well, where we went through that process. You know, the builder, the constructor, and the builder.
Yes.
Which is like they're pretty. Sorry, the construction crew. Oh, so the construction company and the real estate agent.
Yes.
That's exactly what they were sort of saying too.
Yeah.
But it's really important. But even hiring people like interior designers, getting it right, matching the project for your demographic and who you're trying to sell it to.
Exactly.
Your real estate agent as well. When you're doing your FISO, how many? You already know which real estate. You do the research on the real estate agents as well.
I've got one guy that I use all the time,
Yeah.
especially for our projects that are, Logan Home, whether, Redland Bay, and I will always recommend him.
Yeah.
And I'll ring
plug
him.
You can say who he is. You're allowed to.
John Jessup from Elders. We'll always use John. Can ring him and say, hey, and he'll bring us sites as well. He knows that, because he knows that if we're building them or we're getting them built, he's then got a product to sell at the end as well. But I'll always ring him and I'll say, okay, if I was to do this, I reckon we could sell for this. What do you reckon? And he'll say, Louise, if I was to sell them today, I could sell them for $850,000. No questions asked. So that's what I'll work my FISO on. I'm not going to go and work my FISO on when John says, but 12 months down the track, I could possibly get you 900, 910. I'm not working my FISO out on that. I'm working it out on 850.
Yep. In my little FISO that I have, I've got, ideal, winning.
Yes.
And a little bit of not winning, so a little bit of hurt winning. So I always even factor in maybe a 2-3% loss.
We don't want to lose.
No, we don't. But you've got to be prepared for that. Is there
100%. And I think, when I look at my FISOs and when I look at projects, and I did my first duplex project when I was 25, right? And even back then when I was 25, I looked at the figures and I went, okay, what do I need to sell this duplex for just to break even? Probably, I've gained experience from doing it. I've made no money from it, but I've lost no money. So I do look at my FISOs like that too. What is my, what do I need to sell them for to break even? I don't use those figures because obviously we're in this game to, make money.
Well, you know what your walkout price is.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
you're like, okay, I'll sleep at night still.
You need to know what your risk factor is. And I suppose that comes back to where we're saying that no site has a silver lining. No project has a silver lining.
And it's, again, like we said, that is the right thing. But the silver bullet, never going to happen.
No.
You're never going to happen. It is. And the only way you can mitigate, you can move towards having a silver bullet by having the right team behind you.
Correct.
And not rushing into things because you think that's what you should do. I had, one of my builders that I used to work with, or still have in contact with, he made a really good reel about just because you can split a block, especially like the Camp Hill areas, right?
Yeah.
Just because you can split a block doesn't mean you should split a block.
No, exactly.
Why, splitting a block costs you more money. You're then building two houses. You're holding construction over two houses. But it's actually not going to make you any more money than actually building one nice big house.
Exactly.
Smarter strategies, right? There's, like I said, and just getting a different perspective from people. The more information, the more accurate information you have and trusted advice that you have, the closer to that silver bullet you're going to be, right? The closer to that high net profit that you're going to make off that.
Yeah.
So, because you want to make some margin on it.
Well,
right?
yes. That's the name of the game. Yeah.
But, I think people get people don't see, like you get all the really big developers that are like, they look like they're making money and things like that. But what they don't see is they've been doing that for years.
Yes,
They've
and years
stacked
and years.
they've stacked sets, reps, wins, losses.
Yep.
They know what they've learned. The key thing is they will learn from their losses.
Yep.
And double down on their wins.
Yep, exactly. Perfect example is when we were building in Logan Home. So the first lot that we did was 10. And just as they finished, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yay.
That ruined a lot of developers. But
So,
yes.
Where do we go from here? COVID's hit, everyone's in lockdown, what do we do? We pivoted and we went, you know what? We're going to rent them all out. And then we'll advertise them and get John to sell them as for investors.
Yep.
They've got tenants in there paying rent, showing what yield they're going to get. We did that strategy and we sold all of them to investors.
Yep. Because my scary, like one of my things is around exit strategies too.
Yes.
Well, what's your exit? Oh, I'm just going to sell them. Well, hang on. What if you don't sell them? Is there a possibility that you keep one, rent one?
Yeah.
Then we got to look at that, or keep both.
Yeah.
Because it's not all sometimes about selling either.
No, and that's got to come into your FISO too at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What is my exit strategy? At the end of the day, if I owe this amount of money on the project and they don't sell, can I put tenants in all of them? What rent am I going to get? What's that going to look like? Is that going to cover the interest repayments? So you've got to take all that into consideration as well.
And then will a lender give me money?
Exactly. Like, can I refinance? If I've gone private, I need to refinance.
You have to.
Right?
You can take a residual stock. You can do a residual stock loan, but they're only temporary and
Yeah.
they cost more money. That
Yeah.
eats away at your profit. So, and this is where, someone like you get the good finance strategy around you. You can base it on a 12 to 15 month project about how to do it. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation around that. Around that exit strategy because it's key.
100%.
Yeah, we're going private because there's a reason we're going private.
Exactly. And it's also, I've had clients in the past that have come and they've put this little consortium together. We all want to go and do a project. That's great. And my first question to them is, what is your exit strategy? And they look at me, what do you mean, Louise? And it's like, okay, we'll just say you at the end decide that you want to keep one of the townhouses, but everybody else wants to sell them, or, vice versa. Like is there going to be this fallout of this partnership because you're all not on the same page? I see that a lot. It actually happened to me back when,
you were telling me that,
probably our second or third project, and we did a duplex or two townhouses, and the deal, and it was just verbal, was to build them and sell them. And then at the end, the partnership that we had with friends, they decided that we actually want to move into one of them. And then it was this hard conversation on, but this unit's the better one because it's closer to the water. Do you know what I mean?
Which one do you sell? Which one do we keep?
So it became really complex, and we just had to strip it back and go, no, this is not why we did this project together. We did this project together to build and sell. If you want to buy one of them, then you're buying it at market price, right?
Yeah.
There's no
But
discounts.
we do this. We talk about this right at the beginning. We don't talk about it when the project's about to finish.
Exactly.
It's almost as if when you get partners and cut money partners, get all the money up front.
Yeah.
Don't take it in tranches.
No.
Because they don't owe you that money at the end. Like if you only take if it's a $300,000 investment, so we're only going to give you $150,000, and then we get another agreement. Then they decide, we don't want to do it anymore.
Doing more, yeah.
What are you going to do?
And get it in writing.
Yeah, always have your agreements. Again,
Have your agreements,
the next
yes.
person on your team, a very good solicitor.
Very good solicitor.
That knows development or knows property.
Yep, and no structures too,
Yes.
right? Those, your trust and whatever
Yep.
structures.
Yep, and then we don't have, the agreements are set up right at the beginning.
Yep.
Everyone's very clear. We have minor issues. We don't have to deal with, I want to keep that property now. Well,
Exactly,
actually, no, this
yeah.
agreement that we signed is we're actually going to Here's our exit. We can document all that.
Yep, that's right.
So now we've got our team, right?
Yep.
Almost. We've got accountant, buyer's agent, finance, solicitor. Who else? Town planner.
Yep.
Obviously, you need your builder.
Exactly. You won't be anywhere without the builder.
That's a no-brainer. A builder. Architect, draftsman. That all comes into your town planning. That all comes into your
town planning, Yep.
And real estate agent.
And your real estate agent, that's right.
So, and also your team, like the team that's doing the project as well, right?
And so for the first-time developer, first-time person that says, oh, hey, this looks great, I want to do this, this is what you need.
Yeah, a good team. I think that's even key for any sort of anyone that wants to build a portfolio, regardless of whether you want to be development or anything like that. Even if you're buying your first property, you're going to need most of those people anyway.
Exactly.
You're always going to need someone in finance, someone that's going to find you the property, someone that's going to do the legals, accountant as you build your portfolio out.
Yep.
Right.
Financial planner.
Financial
what's
planner.
Your structure.
Yep. For long-term growth and things like that. And then, if you're looking keeping property, things like you got your depreciation schedule, insurance.
Yes.
That's the next big.
Yes, big insurance.
Yes, the insurance guys. So, you're building the team, and all those people, if it's done right, and this is how I work anyway, in my trusted advisor network, everyone has their role. You go do your role.
Yep.
I'll go do my role. We don't talk about each other's roles.
No.
If we want to talk about the client's there, you're there, you speak on. No one speaks out of turn.
No, exactly.
And more importantly, no one takes any commissions off anyone.
No. Correct.
Because you do your job.
Everyone is specialised in their field to do a certain job.
Yep.
So it's even, I don't just work with developers, obviously also work with, owner-occupiers and investors. And even from an owner-occupier, client, I still have my team for those clients. Sure, they might have their own solicitor. That's fine. That's no worries. But I want to know who they are because I need to work side by side with them as well. They may have a financial planner. What structure is this going in? What name is this going in? And, building and pest.
Yes.
There's your next
really
one
big.
for a buyer's agent, having a really good building and pest. And I guess going back to, having that building and pest inspection, going back to my experience and seeing homes, being built from the ground up, I can analyse those building and pest inspect because sometimes they're scary. Sometimes they come across more scary. There's a lot of words. There's a lot of big words, and there has to be, right? That's what they do. So explaining, those issues to the clients, going through that with them. So as a buyer's agent, I still have my team of people that I need for that, for those owner occupiers as compared to those that I need for the developers.
The team doesn't really differ. It's the amount of people in the team basically as well.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
The more sophisticated you get, the more people you need in your corner.
That's right.
This doesn't get less.
No.
But even having the basics.
Yep.
Finance, accountant, buyer's agent, solicitor.
Yep. They're your basics.
Just go from there. Yeah. Because usually, I know I've got like 2 or 3 different build and pest inspectors, depending on where you're located, the property, right? So...
And I have a couple of conveyancers as well, and I have a couple of, insurance brokers as well because they all specialise. They can all specialise in different fields. One, conveyancer might just specialise in the development type, thing, whereas another one might specialise in commercial and another one might just specialise in your owner-occ stuff. So it's always good. I don't have a huge number of team members, but I have people that can service all those areas and that are good in those areas.
Yeah, and that's what you need because, and also when you think about it, personality plays a big part too.
Yes, definitely.
Because that's why I went off for a couple of people. You may not get along. Yeah. And I get along with obviously I know, like, and trust my, my network. So I get along with them. They may not necessarily get along with them. Like, everyone's got different personalities. So it is important to give people a choice, right? But then there are certain times where it's like, no, you actually need to go see this
Person,
Like,
yes.
Don't go see anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll be able, if anyone can help you, know that they're going to be able to help
That's
you.
right.
And
That's
you
right.
get to cut through the garbage,
Yep.
basically. But look, we've gone through a lot.
We have.
Yeah. But I just want to get, before we go, your top tips on how to improve or grow your portfolio in 2025.
I think it's definitely having that team together first.
Yep.
Definitely having that structure, knowing what your purpose is, what your why is. Why are you doing this? What do you want to do? Do you want to buy something for investment? Do you want to develop something to hold on to for investment, or do you want to buy your own family home? So you need to have all of that set out right from the start. Due diligence is key. Don't rush.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't rush the purchase.
Go slow to go fast. That's my
Exactly,
favourite saying.
exactly. So have everyone in place first. Obviously, having a buyer's agent that has experience and knowledge in those areas is, key as well. And yeah, just take it slow. Do your due diligence. Make sure your structures are in place. If ever you've got any doubt, ask questions to those professionals. They can help you. They're there to help you.
That's the job.
That's their job, exactly. We're all here to play a role. We all specialise in certain things.
Yeah. And go back to that, if you have a question and it requires multiple people, let's just get on the phone together.
Exactly.
Get a Teams meeting. Let's just sort
Easy.
it out.
Let's nut it all
Not
out.
dwell on it.
Yeah.
Let's just sort it out and keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
delays
Cost money.
cost money. It's
That's
basically what
right.
it is. Yep. Any other tips?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. So make sure that everyone knows the information on the podcast is very general in nature. It doesn't take into consideration anyone's personal circumstances. I think it's really important if you do want that personalised services to come, speak to yourself about property, speak to me about finance.
Yeah.
But how does someone get in touch with you?
Oh, they can go to the website, which is baseba.com.au.
Yep.
And all my contact details are on there. Email louise@baseba.com.au, or alternatively, get in contact with Dion, who also has all my contact details.
Do you have an Instagram page?
I do have an Instagram page, which is just Base Buyers Agency as well.
Awesome.
So
And you post a little bit. You post a bit on there as well, don't you?
on there and also on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. How do they find you on LinkedIn?
Still under Base Buyers Agency or under LJ Nash.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
So there's
awesome.
two there. So
Yeah.
yep.
Awesome. So if anyone got a bit of information or they learned something, please share it. This is all free education. Don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with your network. It doesn't cost you anything to like, follow, subscribe. It's free.
Exactly.
And you're supporting small business in Australia. You can find me on Instagram at Dion Finance Specialist, also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Dion Fernandez. Really, really simple. Emerge website for our greater team. But apart from that, guys, just speak to the people that you need to speak to and grow your team. I'm all done. Thanks
That
for
was
joining
good.
me.
Thank you. Thanks for
everyone,
having
we'll
me.
see you on the next episode.
Thanks.